I'm here today with Imogen Edmunds of Redwing Solutions HR Consultancy, and today we're talking about the importance of having staff contracts, which seems straightforward enough, but you and I both know often isn't the case when you get into setting.
Absolutely. The contract of employment doesn't need to be written, but the written statement of terms and condition does, clues in the word written. And since April 2020, you have to have somebody's written statement ready for day one of employment. You can't delay it until the end of the probationary period. You can't wait 6 weeks or 8 weeks and then say, here it is. You have to give it to them at least on day one. Ideally, you'll give it to them before day one so that they can see what they're signing up for. But the written statement is really, really important, and it's really super important that they are updated. We're about to have quite a few laws change in the UK in 2024, and there could be implications to the contract of employment by those new laws changing. So it's worth looking at them every 12 to 18 months to make sure they're as up to date as they possibly can be. It's also worth making sure that your contracts are fit for your sector. So the contract you had off your hubby's firm that makes electronics equipment may well have been okay when you first opened your nursery business, but probably won't be okay as you grow and as you hire more people. And there are different templates of contracts for different contracts. So if I employed somebody on a fixed term basis, they were going to work for me for 6 months or 9 months to cover maternity leave, that will be a different contract than if I hired somebody to be permanent. Apprentices contracts are different, managers contracts are different, terms of only people's contracts will be different. So the right contract for the right employment matters, contract that's up to date matters, and making sure everyone's got a contract matters. All too often we hear about situations where perhaps a transfer is going to occur and key people don't have contracts of employment, and sadly when a redundancy occurs, imagine a situation where your business is insolvent, you're a director, you work in your business, you don't have an employment contract. You're going to find it difficult to be able to convince the insolvency service to pay you redundancy pay and notice pay if you didn't have a contract of employment. So contracts really matter. They matter a lot.
From a sheer logistic point of view, obviously I come from a lot of sales where we get to that point where we're gathering the due diligence and half the staff haven't signed in the terms of their contracts, and actually suddenly you're as a seller, you're in a position where you're like, well, if I go to my staff now and just ask them randomly after this amount of time to sign their contract, that's going to be really suspicious and they're going to know what's going on. But actually these things are needed, so you kind of need to make sure that you've got your ducks in a row.
You have, absolutely. And you're preparing to sell should be something we do when we have absolutely no intention of selling.
Oh, without a doubt.
And I can't reiterate that enough to people I know in business, that you build a business to sell even if you have no intention of selling. And getting your contracts in place, I'm sure, will add value to your business. I'm absolutely certain of that. And you cannot go around asking people to sign contracts, because we've had it happen to us where a sale happened some years ago, and it was a reluctant sale, and the outgoing employer, the transferor, decided to up everybody's wages prior to transfer.
Very generous.
Yes, absolutely, and to up them considerably more than market forces would suggest they should have upped them by. And people think that they're being really clever by asking people to backdate a contract of employment, but of course there are other records that prove pay, which all comes out in the wash, so to speak. So really super important to have a contract of employment, and super important to make sure it's up to date. And it's never too late to get a contract in place. But it's more important to have always issued contracts regularly. The rule of thumb is in HR, one change is a letter. So just perhaps be giving you a new salary would be a letter. 2 changes, if you're going to be doing different hours to get a different salary, that's a contract.
Excellent way of remembering it. So I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions, please do click on the link below and get in touch, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.